The Chicago Bulls and Josh Giddey do not reach a contract extension by the 5 p.m. Chicago time deadline on a rookie scale contract extension. We're going to talk about it all and more and what it could mean for this season for Josh Giddey right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So there's no rookie scale contract extension done now for Josh Giddey. That deal is not going to be happening. And, you know, it's something that we expected. When I was live earlier talking about the Jalen Suggs deal, I pointed out the fact that it made sense for the Chicago Bulls to wait this one out. And I think that the risk, reward, whatever you want to look at it for, it's all there in the Bulls' favor as of right now. If Josh Giddey comes in here and he balls out for the Chicago Bulls, you give him his money. It's cool. You give him his money. It's all right. No harm, no foul there. If he does not, if Josh Giddey is a dud, or if he does not pair well with Kobe White, again, these are not things that I'm thinking is going to happen. I'm just saying, if he does not, why risk the chance of that by giving him a deal too early, right? So right now you sit at a place where the Bulls made the calculated decision to not give Josh Giddey his money, and that's just a smart thing. It's a smart thing to do at this point in time, right? I'm sure Giddey wants more than the Bulls were probably willing to offer at this junction, and that the Bulls were not willing to meet the $30 million a year reported interest that Josh Giddey has because he just hasn't been here long enough. So I think when you factor all those things in, it just leads to a situation where you got to react to it the best way that you can. And Josh Giddey not getting his money, it just kind of makes sense. Now, what does this set up for Josh Giddey? It sets up a season where Josh Giddey is basically betting on himself. He's betting on himself. And it's up to you. Josh Giddey said all the right things in media day, talking about how he wants to become a more active two-way player, how he understands the importance of playing two-way basketball now more so than what he did in the past. He said everything, said all the right things, but we've heard all the right things said before as Chicago Bulls fans, and now we want to see it into reality. We want to see it into fruition. We want to see you actually go out there and put it all out there on the court and ball out. As many Bulls fans right now are doubtful or they throw hate or throw whatever towards Josh Giddey, guess what one things that Bulls fans will do? If Josh Giddey comes here and balls out in the Chicago Bulls uniform with Bulls across his chest, Bulls fans are going to rock with you. You still going to get the jokes, my boy. Make no mistake about it. You always going to get those jokes. But the respect and admiration would be a little bit different. The expectation would be a little bit different. He just has to come in here and play basketball. That's it. Now, there are a number of extensions given out around players that could be around what Josh Giddey hopes to do for the Chicago Bulls. The difference is those players had been with their teams for the entirety of their career. You look at Jalen Johnson, a player I really like on that Atlanta Hawks team. He gets $30 million a year, 5 years, $150 million. Solid performance there. You look at Jaden Hardy as well, getting 3 years, $18 million. It's more of like an Io DeSumo extension because he hasn't really done much there. But there, Jalen Suggs, we talked about him. 5 years, $150 million, 0.5 million. Corey Kispert gets 4 year, $54 million. Steve-O's in the building. Steve-O, how you feeling about the Bulls and Josh Giddey not coming to a contract extension by the deadline?
I mean, sheesh. I mean, looking at some of the contracts here, they almost look like a bargain. Like we probably should have gone ahead and gave him what he asked for. But I mean, I'm still in the mindset of like proving yourself. Like you still got to prove yourself at the end of the day. So maybe he does enough to warrant more. And when it comes to that time, we pay him more. But yeah, I'm in the mind of like hindsight's 2020. If I have known a lot of these players like a Suggs and others was going to get $150 million, like I probably would have paid them right now too.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, that's the risk that the Bulls run is that if Josh Giddey comes here and has an all-star type season or something like that, it could very well be more than $30 million reportedly that he's asked. But it's a risk that the Bulls honestly have to take at this point in time, because I just don't, unless he was willing to give up some and do a 24, $25 million deal. It just didn't really make sense to extend him right now.
No, it really didn't, because, like I said, we don't know what he is going to do under a Bulls uniform. We really don't know what. I mean, he really hasn't done much coming from where he's going, and it's kind of conflicting seeing the circumstances with him coming up the bench with that. So you didn't leave nowhere warring to get paid, and you didn't come here, so you ain't done that yet. So therefore, yeah, I feel like the best decision of now, just prove yourself, and if we come to the point where we got to pay you $100 million, it probably you earned it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes like. Listen, if you give a player money after they earn it, they earn it. Like, what? I mean, what is it at that point in time? Like, so I mean, the Bulls can only kick this can down the road so much, but this gives them a full year of evaluation on their team, in their system, getting to learn the player, getting to also learn how they can put a team around him. Not necessarily saying we're building around Josh Giddey, but putting the pieces around him to maximize on his skill. Like, that's a question that people really don't talk about in this as well. Like, when you give a player an extension, even if that's not the player you're building everything around, you got to ask yourself, okay, can we go out there and get the pieces that can maximize the things he does good? That's
Yeah,
what it is.
because when you talking about extension, you're basically essentially saying he's going to be a part of the core that you want to win a championship. So essentially, I want him to prove that before we give him that money. And quite frankly, he hasn't proven anything. So yeah, like I've been saying, go and do it. And if he play, like you said earlier today, if he give you 17-7-7 or 17-10-7, maybe we can have that conversation again, $100 million, and I won't feel too bad about it. And determining how he's playing throughout the season, getting well acclimated with his teammates and everything. But yeah, I understood both sides though. Like, I understood if we did decide to do it just to get it out the way. But yeah, I think essentially what was done is the best for us.
Yeah. And I mean, at this point in time, don't make no mistake about it. I'm sure Josh Giddey's looking at players like Jalen Suggs, looking at players and saying, hey, I can mean as much for this Bulls team as what they mean, what he means to that Magic team. But unfortunately, like, you got traded from the team that has had you in their building. And so when you go to a new situation, like, you got to prove it there. And what you did in OKC, it matters to a degree as far as us knowing what you're capable of, but you got to prove you can do it here. And you got to prove that now you can. There's no longer the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander taking the possessions away from you as far as, like, distributing and doing most of the ball handling. There's no more the Jalen Williams as well taking some of those even the pairing next to Shea away from you. So now you got to come in here. You got to establish yourself with the guys that have been here, and you got to work hard. And like I said it before you came on here, is that Josh Giddey said everything I wanted to hear from Josh Giddey in media day. Now, that doesn't get you very far because you got to show it on the court. But I love hearing that he wants to take the defensive side of the ball more seriously. Most of the defense is effort. You can turn yourself into a decent defender by giving effort every single play. And I hope to see that from Josh Giddey. It was rocky in the preseason, but go ahead.
And I was just about to say, with his stature and his measurables, he has the ability with that effort to turn into a great defender. And that's why they want players of that, like, with length and things like that. Not necessarily, I don't know. I don't think he has, like, I don't want to say great, because I don't necessarily think he has, like, quick enough feet compared to, like, somebody like a Kawhi and people like that. But when it comes to, like, playing the passing lanes, being smart, communicating and stuff, and just staying in front of somebody, he has all the capabilities to do that. It's all about 1-2, and you have that attitude to want to come out and be like, I'm gonna lock this dude down. So it's not only a want to or everything, it's a mentality as well. So yeah, like, he said everything I want to do. He also said he wanted to work on that jump shot. Now you just got to go out there and prove it.
Yeah, and to his credit, he's been taking threes in preseason. He ain't been hitting them, but at least he's been taking them for what's that worth. So he's trying to get better there. And so yeah, it's a prove it year, and I think that this tells you a lot about a player and their mental when they're in a situation, and it's like your future is now on you, right? And not to say that the whole team's success is riding and dying on the shoulders of Josh Giddey, but like your personal season, how can you personally improve? How can you make the players around you better as a point guard, right? Because that's still the name of the game, as a point guard. And if you do that, hey, we'll see what we got in you going forward. Like, And that's just what it comes down to. And this is a calculated risk by the Bulls. When we talk about what's next, it means that he's still going to be a restricted free agent. So there's one of a couple of ways it can go. He balls out and you sign him much like you did Kobe, Ayo, Vooch, P. Will. You sign them before they hit the official free agent market, before they take any meetings with teams. Or at the worst, he doesn't have the greatest season. He maybe shows some flashes, but doesn't have the greatest season. And you let the market dictate his value because you can match any deal that he can get. So there's that part into it as well. So
yeah, either way it is, I feel like it's the best situation. Put yourself as a franchise. Like you don't really put yourself in an oddball situation. Like it's still like I said, it's not really a situation that can get out of hand. And like it's everything kind of works out in your favor. Either you gonna move on from the situation or you gain the player, a true player.
You figure out you got you one, or you figure out, hey, we think that, I mean, there's still some things we need to figure out. So the deal is going to reflect the fact that we still have faith in you, but you ain't showed us enough yet. So, and that's what it comes down to. Sydney says, didn't the Bulls shoot 53s one game? If so, how many did they make? I believe they shot, it was like 36% or something in that game.
Yeah. We
something like
that.
that.
We shot right. I think we started off decent that day, and then it just
that was that game where I think we hit like 13 of our first 19 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Then at the second half we hit like 5 of like 20 or some shit like that. So but yeah, I mean, listen, the Bulls are trying. They're trying to modernize this team. They're trying to modernize this offense, and Giddey is going to have all the opportunity to show exactly what he can be with this Bulls team. It's just up to you. So
got the green light, bro. Future's in your hands.
That's a fact. Joe says Giddey didn't have a very productive offseason because of his ankle. Let him get his legs under him and some time with Peter Patton. By the end of the season, they should know what to pay. I agree with that. So right now, the Bulls held all the power. You had an injury that we didn't know about before media day. You're coming off a bad season with the OKC Thunder. You killed it over an Olympic play. Shout out to you there, but that don't mean shit for that. Hell, Chris Duarte was one of the 5 best players in international play, and he ain't cracking this rotation. So
he been garbage.
Yeah,
but
so,
you know what's crazy?
What?
I like Peter Patton more than a fucking head coach.
Listen. I've gotten to learn a lot about Peter Patton, and I would not he's a trainer, but I would not be surprised if eventually Peter Patton gets into coaching at all.
Hey, maybe the next Eric Spoelstra. We never know. That motherfucker was teaching people how to shoot. Now he a head coach.
Hey, listen, you just never know how things are going to progress. That's why it's important to get guys in your building and let the chips fall where they may after
and don't let them go.
Yeah,
and that's another key thing. We not only do we let players go, we let some coaches go too.
That's a fact. So we'll see, man. Any last thoughts on this, Steve-O, before we get up out of here?
No, way to show some patience, aka and Eversley.
Yeah, I mean they could have pulled the trigger. They could have been nervous about it and said, "Let's go ahead and lock this guy up so that we don't risk the chance of losing him or whatever the reasons would be." But I'm glad that they stuck to their guns, and you should at this point in time. Yeah, stand on business. So it is what it is, man. But make sure you guys stay in tune with this. This is like my 4th episode today over here, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, we about to go do an NBA Central talking about all the rookie scale contract extensions given out. So again, as I've been telling y'all make sure y'all go over and support NBA Central, man. We really putting in a lot of work over there on that channel now this season, being a lot more consistent than we would have been consistent last year, but people forgot that was the year they was fucking with us and our money.
Yeah, and they took our shit.
Yeah, they took our shit for a little while. So we're basically a season behind schedule. We had an injury season like P. Will. So we back on track. Y'all make sure y'all can follow us over there, man. You can follow us here at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number 1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.